J. Alexander Martin, one of the founders of FUBU. And you've heard of FUBU. And also you see his partner on the Shark Tank. And I just thought it was an unbelievable opportunity to understand. But we don't get to a lot of apparel stuff on this show. So if you really want to talk about starting something from scratch, I mean, we're talking flour, eggs, salt, no pre-made pie crust here. We're talking scratch.
Scratch.
I want to know, first of all, congratulations. And thanks for coming up, man. You should be really proud. What an unbelievable accomplishment. And I don't think you're stopping.
No, never. Can't do that. Don't know how.
Tell me how this comes about. Like, how do you invent a brand like this? And it's been around for a while.
20-something years.
So not only you've been around, you've been successful, you've been significant.
I laugh at myself. Sometimes I look at myself as a dinosaur. I'm like, I'm old. Not gonna be a whole has-been, but because I'm always gonna be around. FUBU's always around. Actually, we're in museums now, so that's like when the aliens come down and everything's over. They be like, oh, those FUBU guys though. Maybe we'll save them.
I just love the name. How do you come up with FUBU?
Well, FUBU was for us biased. Back when we first started, there was the culture of hip hop and music and fashion and all that, and we just it kind of stuck. It was like we want something for us, for the generation, by us. And we, it just kind of stuck. FUBU. Okay, we can't call it for us biased. We use that acronym and it's FUBU.
But was it a money grab? Like, was it like, man, we got to come up with something, man. We got to put some food on the table, or do you really see a need, or was there what else?
No. So let me kind of give you the back end story. So basically, Damon John. Everybody knows Damon John from Shark Tank,
and also a great entrepreneur at this point, right?
Yeah, definitely. And he was always kind of like that. I always wanted to be in fashion, and he's the type of guy that would sell like there's a mirror. Actually when we lived, there was a mirror factory, and he would grab the mirrors that they threw out in the garbage and then sell them to people. So he was that type of guy way back then.
Grind.
Hustle, grind. Not necessarily a shark, but I guess a baby shark in that capacity. I'm more of the dolphin in that respect. So. Basically what he did, he was creating a hat. He had a hat that was a tie top hat, and I came home from Desert Storm. I was in the Navy, and I used my GI Bill, went to fashion school. So when I kind of hooked up back with the guys in the neighborhood after coming to the military, and so actually it was a medical discharge as well. And I was like, well, hey, was this a hat? Like, I liked the logo, and I was like, wow, this is nice. And he was like, oh yeah, I'm just selling it, whatever. It doesn't matter, it wasn't something that he was trying to get into. So I convinced him to help, let me come in and turn it into a clothing line. So he was like, well, his big thing was, well, we don't have any money. So I had gotten some money from the military. I was in an accident, and I got some money out of it.
So what happened in the military? Did you serve for a long period of time?
Well, I served the Desert Storm. Once Desert Storm was over.
Were you over there?
I was over there. It was over there.
Wow.
And I came home.
Thank you for that.
I always, sometimes I don't even know what to say when people say thank you. I'm like, that was my job, I guess. But in respect to that, I mean, that's something you just do. I mean, like even when Israel, it's the people's army. Everybody goes in the army or the Navy, or the army. So I just felt it was a duty that I had to do. So back to the story, he was making a hat, and I was like, wow, I got $6,000 from this accident when I was in the military. $6,000, right? So $6,000 in 1992. That might as well been $1 million. That
was real money.
That was and cash in my hand.
That was even more real money.
Yeah, I was like, wow. So I said, all right, you know what? I can help you. I can turn this into a clothing line. He was like, well, so I gave him the money, and then I was, like I said, I was going to FIT, fashion school, at the same time, and that's how we were getting understanding what to do, and from there we built it on.
How much money did you have when you actually started the company? Was it just the $6,000? Did you have to go borrow and beg and scheme and dream?
No, well, initially he had borrowed money, and he borrowed, I think, I don't know how much it really was, but he borrowed some money from his mother's boyfriend at the time, and I'm not sure what the number was in term, but just to make the actual garment, just to make the actual hat and the logo and all that stuff like that. And then, like I said, I came in and just topped it off by saying,
how do you come up with the name even? How's that name? I mean, what was that named after? Is it?
It's not even named after. It's pretty. I think it's named after a time.
Okay.
A period. in life where you're actually going to the store and you're seeing clothes that really don't represent you, and it's not even what you want. It doesn't have the intricacies that that you want. Like, for instance, if you're tall and you want something that is going to be a little longer, right? So it's just simple things like that. But well, back then, fashion was just what I give you is what I give you, and you wear it.
Nobody was servicing urban.
Nobody was servicing urban at all.
That's a fact.
That's definitely a fact. So we would take stuff and interpret it and put it our way. So after a while, like I said, again, there was nothing for us.
So it really was a what else, what's next kind of thing. You were looking into the market, understanding the market, and see what was missing.
Right. Now, I'm in school learning this and practicing it. But again, I still don't have the 100%, I don't have the knowledge that I really need to actually make it happen, but I'm making it happen anyway, because it's one of those things. I mean, Damon has a book called The Power of Broke. So when you don't have any money, you're going to do what you got to do to get it done.
And not waste a dime.
And not waste a dime. So that was one of the real reasons why we really,
Do you think
made money.
not have, I mean, I know the answer to this, but I'm curious your answer. I think we're going to agree on this. Like, do you think not having a lot of money or not having enough money or any money is sometimes an advantage?
I think it's yes. I think somewhat it is an advantage, but somewhat it is a detriment. It depends on your mind. It depends on how you think. A lot of people,
makes you so much more resourceful, right?
It does to certain people. Yeah. But see, there's a line between being an entrepreneur and being a person that's going to just work for a living. And that entrepreneur is going to take that opportunity and run, because he sees something more than somebody else sees. Yeah. And if you don't, you're just going to be a worker, and you're going to work for the actual person.
Well, you had to be a little scared because you're probably a little bit undercapitalized.
No. And that's the thing.
Back in the day, you weren't? No?
No, we were uncapitalized. Yeah. That's correct. But we was never scared.
Okay.
Because we were having fun and we were just doing what we were doing, and it was working.
Yeah, you do what you do.
It's just like a baby. You throw the baby into the pool and it just swims. It's not caring. It's like, yeah, wow, I'm just swimming. Everything is great, So sometimes ignorance is bliss.
What was the first thing that hit you? Because I think a lot of people out there, they get nervous because they don't have enough money. Mm-hmm. You should be a little nervous, but don't use what you got.
Well, right.
Use what you have. Work with what you got.
People use what they have. People, I know a lot of times people come up and they say, hey, I want to start this business. I just need capital. But what did you do before that? Like, you have money. You probably have your own money, or you have other resources. Use those resources first. Always. Because nobody's here to finance your dreams. I always say that to everybody. Like, nobody's here to finance your dreams. You finance it. People give you money when you don't have any. I mean, I'm sorry, when you don't need it.
That's true.
You don't really need
What was your aha moment? What was the first thing that hit that said, man, I think we're going to be having more than fun here. We're going to be making some money. When did that happen? Was it like one product or one particular breakthrough?
To me, I think it was just day one. I always had a feeling that it was going to work. And which, so when people ask me that question, I can never really give them a straight answer that really makes sense, at least to them or maybe to the audience, because for some reason in my head, I just knew this was going to work.
Like, people always ask me, did you ever think you were going to be this successful back then? I'm like, yeah. You think I started this thing thinking I was going to fail?
Right. You going in.
I'm thinking that. Matter of fact, I'm even thinking even bigger. I haven't even caught up to my dreams and hopes. But on the other hand, there were some aha moments that I was like, "Whoa, this just triggered, man. This just hit. Like, wow, maybe this is cool. This is opening up some doors that maybe are going to move this thing along quicker." Yeah.
Well, I mean, signing with we had a distributor that we signed with, which is Samsung. That was able to get us, out there. Anytime you have good distribution, you're definitely gonna. Then we had, absolute financing after that, because we had, all that distribution, and things just trickled. They just went and snowballed and to what it is today.
What kind of effect having a partner like Damon is, like all these different companies investing in? Mm-hmm. Do you feel any of that, or you're still working? You're really focused on your FUBU?
Well, Damon's. Damon has his Shark branding thing, and we all have individual things that we work on.
You stay in your lane.
And my lane kind of widens. It widens. Sometimes it goes narrow. Sometimes it widens. It depends, whatever comes to me, and I take it as it comes.
What's your biggest obstacle now? But you've been around a long time. Is it hard to reinvent yourself? Do you feel like you've had your best idea, or do you still think more big things to come?
No, I never think I have my best idea. Because I'm the creative one out of the group. So I'm always thinking of different ways
Me
to
too,
kind of
man.
bring it.
I feel like I haven't
Yeah.
gotten to first base.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, you did this. Now, how can you do this for everybody else? Because what I hate is, and this is just coming from where I've come from, you know, I don't want to be the person in the room and the people that I've come up with or grow up with, they're not in the same room with me and doing the same things. And sometimes I always say it's hard to, you know, to bring somebody from, you know, from back then because
You grew up poor with some money?
No, actually, no, I didn't grow up poor, and neither of us really grew up poor. You know, for the suburbs.
Because, you know, in Hollis, Queens.
No. Yeah. Well,
I
Hollis
would have
Queens,
loved to come and hang out with you.
right, but you know, it depends on wherever you're at. You know,
Yeah.
wherever you grown from. But you know, the area that we grew up at, you know, there was some. You know, they still call it the hood.
Yeah.
In theory, they still call it the hood. It still has its bad parts. And its
By the way,
bad
why the
times.
service? How'd you end up going to the service? What was your feeling on that? Why that Detroit when you're so into fashion? Like I'm thinking fashion, military.
I'm gonna tell you a stupid thing. I asked the recruiter. I said, "Can I go? Is there anything in fashion?" And it was like, yeah. Well, you know what? Not really, but what you can do is you can you know, you can go to school. Of course, I couldn't go to school while I was in there, but you know, hey, that's what they say to get you in there. But you know, when I grew up, my father was going to say either you're going to go to college, or you know, you're going to get out of my house. So you was one of the two. So I wasn't necessarily ready for college. So I guess the military is my college.
And what'd your dad do?
Actually, my father, he worked for a company called Depository Trust Company. He actually started from clerk and retired as vice president.
She get that work ethic from your dad.
Yeah, and my mother, she always owned her own business.
You see, you know, so you get that entrepreneur spirit from mom. You always get a little something from mom.
Yeah,
My mom,
yeah,
and you can't discount mom, but then you got it from both.
Right.
And both were hustling.
Right.
Both were not staying still.
No, not at all.
So they were good role models for you.
Yeah, very. And my father, he always had this thing about, you know, being able to go uptown and be able to go downtown. And you have to be able to do both. So he would sometimes, you know what? Hey, listen, we want you to try this new food. So I was trying caviar at, 15, 13, 14. You know, I was eating at restaurants, they would save up and say, listen, we're all going to go to this restaurant and eat, and I'm like, I don't like it. No, try it. And, it made me cultured. And just as well as going into the military made me look at the world and say, oh, wait, the world is not flat,
And discipline.
As
Accountability.
well. Yep.
You got to be somewhere, be there on time, or you're going to be a price.
Yeah, what do they say? Pay attention to detail. So once you do that, and then, going overseas and going to different countries and seeing other people and actually being placed in situations where you have someone from Texas and someone and have all different type of genres, all sorts of type of minds, and always some type of just even style, and you're looking at people and you're like, wow, that's interesting. So you take that back to, where you live, and it's like, this world is bigger than this. So that kind of honed my skills.
When you're in the boroughs,
and
tell me if you feel this, like when you're in the boroughs, like you really don't feel there's any world outside those boroughs.
No, you don't.
Like I never felt like, why would you leave Brooklyn?
Right.
Matter of fact, when my friends I told them I was going to Syracuse, they thought I was out of my mind.
Yeah.
Like, why would you go hang out with a bunch of hicks upstate?
Yep.
What's going to be going on at Syracuse? You're going to be so bored.
Yep.
Do you realize what you're doing? You realize what you're throwing away?
Yeah.
You can't leave Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And that's how boroughs people are, and that's how New Yorkers are a little bit. We don't think there's much going on outside New York.
And some, I say this sometimes to some people, and then if they do kind of get out and they go to Miami, think they went out of the country. I'm like, no, it's Miami. What are you talking about?
Which is like, basically Coney Island with a little pizzazz. Yeah. But I mean, and you can always relate a little something to New York, but it's really hard to get New Yorkers to get out of New York. Yeah. I wonder what the percentage of New Yorkers are that never left New York.
Yeah.
It's got to be a high number.
Yeah. And now, there is that percentage that it's like, man, I can't make it here. I'm going to go somewhere and be a big fish in a little pond. And then they go, and it's so many people I know that, like, if they move to Atlanta or they move, if they move to Atlanta, they'd probably stay because price of living and all that. But I know tons of people migrated off to LA, and you give them 2 years, and I just look at my clock, 2 years, tick, tick, they back. Well, what happened? Man, I can't take that because there's no other city like
As you're
New York.
evolving back with FUBU for a minute, what was the biggest challenge in the early stages? Because there's I see a lot of kids now developing a lot of cool brands, sweatshirts, T-shirts. You see probably more now than ever.
Right.
But what are the big trials and tribulations that you had back then in the day that people out there can learn from?
I could say like this. You pretty much have to have determination. And what we would do is we would have, there was music videos at the time, and we would take our clothes and go take maybe one outfit, take it to the set, have somebody wear it, take it back. Yeah, take it back. And that would be a commercial for us, per se. You know, so we take it back, put it in the cleaners, take it back, you know, and then go out to the next video and put it on the site, another person.
Smart.
You know, we didn't have 50 different colors and 80 different pairs of jeans. We didn't have that. We had maybe five different color shirts, and that's it. You know, so I think there it wasn't really a problem.
Were you like 24/7 in this hustle?
Oh, because we all moved in one house. Almost like those reality shows.
Like how many people in the house?
So it's four.
So
well,
four
three, four, sometimes three, sometimes four.
Hanging in the house, and you're just talking, living it all day,
living it all day and night. Well, Damon would go to work because Damon, he had a second job. His job, he worked at Red Lobster. I had worked at Red Lobster as well.
Real job.
But didn't, yeah, right. He was a waiter, right? So
that is funny. He never talks about that.
No, he does once in a while. Just
he's working at the Red Lobster.
Yeah, working at the Red Lobster, and I want to work in there for a while just to make some extra money. I started a dish, and I was just doing it just to make some money. But then, you know, things got too big, things started moving. I wound up just stopping everything and just working, you know, full time for FUBU. And he would come back home, you know, tired, and it's like, okay, listen, this is what happened, and I would, you know, update him what's going on, and then we would just like, I mean, I guess, you know what? Let me say something. The biggest thing that I think probably happened to us was when we went to Vegas. I should say. Let me throw that out.
What happened in Vegas? Besides the obvious.
Well, Vegas we had, right? but we wanted to tell everybody about that. You know, you don't want to leave that in Vegas.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Stays in Vegas. No, I want to tell everybody about that. You know,
that's amazing.
So you know, if I'm going to say one thing, that's probably what it was. Because going to Vegas, you know, there's a trade show every year called the Magic Show.
Yep.
And we went to this magic show. I convinced them. I said, "Listen, we got to go to this magic show." And they're like, "Magic show, convention? What are you talking? That's where all the buyers go." And I'm like, "Okay." So we wound up going there. We stayed in one hotel. We would, you know, and we would have appointments, have people come, and we wrote, you know, nice orders, a couple of 100,000 in orders.
Wow.
So, you know, with that, then you know you got something. You know, from that, you know you had something. You knew that not just your people in New York wanted it, but people all over wanted it. And stores from all over.
That was good sampling because you're in a room for a lot of people that want generally the kind of stuff you have, and whether they were going to buy into that or not.
And we got a good buzz. We got a really, really good buzz.
I would say fish where the fish are.
Yes.
You know, go to Magic. 2,000 buyers there all in 1 week.
No, we couldn't afford to be at the show.
But you were walking.
You know, we'd go there. We used to walk around, give out flyers, come back, you know, sit there and wait. You know, we have some people.
That's what I was with Atlanta with the Super Show. If you remember that.
Yeah, with the Super Show. Yeah.
I never could afford to have a booth at that show. The booths were huge. Nike was like 100,000 square feet. Remember that?
Yeah.
But I'd walk that show, and you know, you'd happen to have some things in your hand, and you'd be rapping and giving out stuff. And
well, we grew from, you know, actually staying in a hotel to having one of the biggest booths in Magic.
Really?
And having the best party, you know, like hands down. Like you couldn't have your party on in the out day. Forget it. Like don't do anything because nobody's going. They only go into the FUBU party.
Because your stuff became so hot. Was there one particular celebrity that really helped you drive that home?
Of course, you got to say.
I'm a big celebrity.
You got to say LL Cool J. You got to say LL Cool J. He was the pivotal person that made it really go. I always salute him and thank him because he didn't have to do it.
No.
He didn't have to.
And did it for the love of the game?
Right.
Or
he did
monetize on it?
He got monetized. He got monetized eventually, yes.
But he still did the right thing.
But he did the right thing in the beginning. Because he even with the, you know, our biggest marketing ploy was when he wore a hat in a Gap commercial. He wore our hat in a Gap commercial. So with that, it's like till today. I mean, we in history books, history books and marketing books. Actually, I have it at home. I kept it, and it talks about how we just changed marketing forever with that.
What's next going on? It's so complicated now to understand how to dress, what to wear. Is urban still hot, or is it lost a little bit, or is it kind of flatlined? But what is hot? I go to a formal affair, people wearing sneakers, jeans. I go to a casual thing, people wearing suits and ties. I don't know what the hell.
Yeah, you know, to me it's so backwards, and you know what made the market, or what made things kind of change was you know, when the credit dried up. So there was so many stores, and everybody was prospering, and there was so many moms and pops, and then the credit dried up, and then all of a sudden all these, you know, chain stores started closing, and then we had to take the price of our clothes and bring it down, and the quality bring it down, and the stores that were, you know, kind of making all the money now, all these discount stores, and now you start having to design for the discount stores. So you lost that oomph. You know, when you're a fashion brand, brand's a fashion brand for a reason, because it's fashionable. But then now everybody's like, look, I'm not paying, you know, $5,000 to $100,000. I'm not $5,000, but you know what I'm saying? I'm not paying, you know, that's almost like $5,000.
Are you guys in the Are you in the sneaker game?
Yes. We just did a collaboration, and that's another thing. What's going on now is everyone's kind of doing collaborations. And I think after everyone's finished doing collaborations, and everybody links up, then everybody's gonna go apart, and the leaders are gonna be kind of come back in fashion. And we're doing collaboration. We just did one with Puma, worldwide.
Which one did you do? I follow Puma. I'm a big Puma
fan. We did a collaboration with Puma.
As in the basketball sneakers?
The
casual.
The casual.
The fun ones.
Yeah, we had 2 sneakers, and we had clothes. We did we launched it at Foot Locker. Pretty much all doors.
Yeah.
We did in the flagship store, one of the flagship stores.
Is
in
that
New
kind
York,
of the Pumas that almost have like a fabric kind of sneaker to it? Or is that
the low cut with the stripe.
Those are cool.
Yeah.
Nice. I think Puma's got a shot.
No, Puma has a shot. You know, they all have a shot.
Yeah.
You know, the big elephant in the room is, of course, Nike. They're going to be around forever, per se. But, you know, what happens is people just get over. Sometimes after a while, you wear it. And the underdog becomes the fashionable more and more so. So they're having their time. Yeah. And then eventually it's like, oh, I don't wear that anymore. I wear Nike.
How big is your company? How big is it now?
Actually, we've condensed it. Because now we're pretty much more of a licensing company.
You are a licensing company, so people can go license your name and then they can put together.
So that's what we're doing more so now.
That's a beautiful thing,
we don't. I mean, they'd still call me back every once in a while and say, "Hey Jay, we got to create a line." And it's like, oh man, I know I gotta go. I quit my day job, man. I got other stuff I want to do. But
the licensing is a lot easier as far as manpower and simplicity, right?
Yes.
You still got to manage, control.
You still got to manage and control that,
and make sure you get the royalties.
And make sure you get
partnerships with good companies.
Correct. Yes.
So licensing is a great way to go if you build up a good brand.
That's the best way in the end. Yeah. Because you don't there's no work. That's their work. Well, I shouldn't say there's no work. There is work because there's a whole lot of follow up in that.
Marketing support.
Yeah.
And then integrity. Make sure not too many people get the brand and stuff like that. So what's next? You got your licensing company. Is it something else you're working on with Damon, or something else you want to do?
What's
filling your world up?
What we did, we all kind of took on different licensees. Like we wanted to create our own thing. Carl, he's actually right now, he's pretty much I want to call him the head of licensing, because he's bringing in a lot of licensees as we speak now, Carl Brown. And he took on the hotel division. So he's tackling that. He's trying to find a space in that way. Keith, he has what they call FUBU Radio. So he's trying to tackle that. Wow. I have FUBU television. I have distribution on Comcast. I'm actually, hopefully, by the first quarter's over, I'll finish the deal with Yahoo slash Verizon, and just working, just trying to get it going. I have my other outside things that I do in finance, and I'm actually the president of the New York State Black Chamber of Commerce. So
How big is that?
Very small.
How small is small?
I mean, I got an office of 5 people. I mean, small.
But how many members? That's what I meant.
Oh, how many members? To be honest, I have a cool 10 members. Although I wind up trying to help my members, but because it's just kind of started.
Okay,
it's been around, but in my time.
And the purpose of that is.
The purpose of that is to give back and try to help businesses scale. I just signed to do a deal to kind of be a spokesperson, more so managing partner for equity fund. What else am I doing? I'm on the road with my book called Money Makes Me Crazy.
Where's that book?
Oh, I have one for you, of course.
Hello.
I mean,
hold on here. Hold on. Now we're getting into the Corvette.
I have a copy for you.
Money Makes Me Crazy, which I couldn't have said it better, by the way.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, I haven't read this book, but I love the title. Money Makes You Crazy because it does.
Yeah, and
sometimes
does.
It is the root of all evil and does not resolve all problems. Right. Okay, but it's nice to have. I'm not giving it back, nor should you, but appreciate your money, but it is way overrated. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. And it's funny if you talk about looking about you, you're the only one, to me, you keep these athletes alive, because if not, how many athletes do you probably know of, and you probably gone through, and they just all spend all their money up running around doing crazy stuff.
I was thinking the other day, and being a collector, I save all my old checks, and I was going through all the checks and the money I've made. So many guys, and the guys that have just come and gone. The good news is not as many. It's not as bad as it was. Because you got to be really, really stupid. I mean, a high level of stupid to blow $100 million. You know, if you make $20-30 million, I know it sounds like a lot of money, and it is.
But it's all relative. Money is relative.
It is. But I could see how $20 million, if somebody had a career for 3-4 years, 5 years, and only made $20-25 million, after taxes, the agent, couple of bad investments, a house for the parents, all of a sudden you could be down a little bit.
Yeah.
It still takes an effort to blow all that. But you have 150 million, you're bankrupt, man, you got to be really smart to blow that. That takes genius.
No, really. And there's a lot of smart people
and there's a lot of people that have blown that kind of money.
Listen, I mean, I can't tell the names, but I know of people who have $100 million contracts, and when they had the lockouts, they would go into sharks to get money, to borrow money.
Take me through why you wrote this book, because I see on the bottom how I squandered millions of dollars building FUBU empire. Because so you made millions, you squandered millions. I assume you still have a few bucks.
Yeah, a few bucks. Yeah.
But why this book? Why'd you write it?
I wrote it because when we come up, the first thing we want to do is show everybody what we have, and that's the wrong way to do it.
Because who cares? And the people that do care, the people you got to stay away from anyway.
Exactly. You know, and it's like a show me. You know, you buy a car, you got to buy jewelry, you have to buy all these little things that you think you have to do, and you do that, and you do it to a point. So then, or you always want to be first, or you want the newest car, the newest this, and you don't look. After a while, you know, it's going down. So then you need a house here, but then I have a house here, and then you look at your other friends, and what happens? You're trying to top them, you know, and then he got a bigger contract. So now you get a big contract, but a lot of times too, psychologically, you think that money's always going to come, forever. So basically, this book kind of changes your mind to understand money, because you have to understand yourself and understand in terms of value money. Before that, you're just going to just blow it because you have no respect for it. You know, these guys play a sport since they were probably
5 years old.
5 years old. That's all they do. They're not playing money. They're getting money for what they're doing.
And
but
I mean, they know how to handle the money.
They don't know how to handle it.
Do with the
they
money.
don't know what to do with the money.
And it's hard to find the right people.
They don't teach money in school. You know
do you have a hard time finding? Not at all.
They don't
Kids
teach
come out
money
of
in
school,
school.
they didn't write a check. They didn't even know how to open up a bank account.
No.
Which is sad. I mean, it's so much of those
That's why
skills.
there's so many debit cards.
Yeah, so sad.
It's funny, actually.
Bummer.
I'm speaking next month to Equifax.
And
about the same thing.
Who's this book for? Who do you want this book? Whose hands do you want this book to be in?
I think this book should be the Bible for anyone that has money. If you're coming to money, if you work for money, because it's relative too, because you could do the same thing. You know, I know some people that make $50,000 are happier than people that make $50 million.
Amen.
And actually, just if you look at put it on paper, discretion, they have more money than you have to spend. You know,
because you see a lot of multimillionaires that are cash broke. You got no money to spend, but they got houses, cars, but they don't have money to buy some popcorn.
Yeah.
You know, and that's sad too in itself. I think there's should be more conversation about money, because I like money. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I don't like money.
Right.
It's kind of the it's a monopoly. It's kind of how you win the game of business. So I like the winning of the game. I like making money. It's kind of a good feeling. I don't think it's the end all. It's not because of the things that I want, even though I have a lot of things I want. So it's easy maybe for me to say, but it's overrated.
But
and that's my huge problem. People give way too much credence because somebody has a lot of money,
right?
Instead of their authenticity, or because they're a good person. Give more credence to that. Give more credence to the school teacher,
right,
or the educator, or the doctor.
I can't agree with you more.
And that's my problem with society is we start respecting people just because they have a lot of money. Respect people because they're a good person,
right?
Respect your doctors, your teachers, the people that are fighting in our wars, the policemen, the firemen. That's the people that I respect.
Marketing 101. Everyone, everyone goes for what's marketed. And that's what it is. I mean, that's your business as well.
And I've been blessed to be blessed when I say that I've been unbelievably poor. The food stamps, the food banks, and everything else. So I got a good feeling what it's like to be hungry. So I am very grateful. But on the other hand, I've had a blessing to live in a wealthy neighborhood and see the contrast,
right,
and understand the difference,
right,
and they're not the obvious differences, because I see a lot of wealthy people that are really poor,
right.
Right.
Yeah.
This book doing well. I mean, how's it been?
No, actually, it's doing well. I'm actually on tour now with the Urban League. Tomorrow I speak with them, and then next month I go to Atlanta. I think I'm not sure what the next part of the leg of the tour would be yet. I won't know till next month. Cool. But I've already visited L.A., Chicago.
You having fun?
Yeah, I'm having fun.
Good for you, man. And still looking for that next entrepreneurial idea?
Oh, keeping it. I'm just keeping it going. Like I said, I just signed a deal with a company called Veterans Capital Partners. Yeah. And I'm actually equity manager now. Well, I'm not necessarily saying I'm doing all the work.
But you're out there looking for opportunities.
But I'm out there looking for opportunities to buy.
Also, I think that there's a changeover now where we are finding opportunities with all walks. Youth. There's huge opportunities with teenagers now. I never saw as many as they are now. Opportunities with minorities. Right. Women now are all of a sudden stepping up.
Women businesses are the fastest growing.
And where entrepreneurism is fast growing too, 55 to 65, because we've been doing stuff forever and a day, and people get burnt out. They got some money, they got experience, they want to do their own thing. Yeah. People think entrepreneurism is all with youth, right? But it really is a very, very strong, passionate group of people in 55 to 65. They're like, wait a minute, I see a niche, I see something I could do, I'm good at it, I have some money, I'm starting my own thing. Right. I'll give you the final word, Jay.
I'm just happy to be around all this nostalgia.
We're going to take you through the warehouse. We're going to show you there's a lot more downstairs, 50,000 square feet downstairs.
What?
Oh, this is just the office upstairs.
Oh,
we got to show you around. We'll give you a little tour.
Sheesh, wow.
Congratulations on your book. Congratulations on FUBU. Well, I got to get myself a FUBU product. I feel like I don't have any FUBU in my wardrobe, and I'm trying to diversify my feel and look. So if you send me something, I'm going to wear it on the next show just to show my diversity. Because I know
the word of the day is diversify, right?
And you have to, man. Good luck with this book. And by the way, don't underestimate the power of money, and also the power of understanding about what money represents and how to handle it, especially when you're young out there and you have plans on making a lot of it, which is cool. I'm right with you. I want you to make a ton of money. Go for that money grab, but understand the power of it and understand how to handle it and understand what it can and won't give you. And it does bring you some deterrence. It does bring you some distractions. It will bring you some bad elements. So you need to prepare yourself for that. I'm sure this book covers it. Love this idea. Love this book. Going to bring it home. I'm going to give it a read tonight. Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
By the way, your handle, we'll put it up. We'll list it below. If you want to link it with my man, link it right below. You go to his Facebook.
Facebook is J. Alexander Martin. And Instagram is A Fashion Mind, the letter A, Fashion M-I-N-D. And Twitter is the JALEXANDERM.